A draw for Brentford, a 99th minute winner for Liverpool, and Spurs staged a really late comeback to beat Palace. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the goal line. Hello guys, how you doing? And welcome to the goal line. I am, of course, your host John, and I want to get into the results straight away because we're on one of them horrible limited timescales again. So we'll start off with what I was talking about, the Liverpool game. 99th minute. It was Darwin Nunez's header, which was the goal. It was his I think it was his 21st or was it his 22nd contribution towards goals this season alone. He came off the bench to score a dramatic 99th minute winner and send Liverpool 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League with the victory over struggling Nottingham Forest, who are 17th, I believe. It says here, as the game drifted past the eight added minutes, because there's 8 added minutes there, announced by the fourth official, Darwin, playing his first game since suffering a muscle injury at Brentford on the 17th of February, found the bottom corner with a glancing header from Alexis McAllister's cross. It was Liverpool's first win at the City Ground since 1984, and ensures that they will be top of the table heading into next Sunday's crucial match against champions Manchester City. With the game goalless heading into the final seconds and title rivals City and Arsenal still to play this weekend, Jurgen Klopp's side faced the prospect of falling to third by Monday night before Darwin's last gasp intervention. Defeat for Forest leaves them just 4 points above Luton Town in the final relegation place, having played two games more, and with the outcome of their financial breach case still to be decided. You can read all about that on the BBC Red Button and app. They are that is the story, and I think quite a lot of Nottingham Forest players are worried about that. Going on to the next thing I'm going to talk about, Tottenham 3, Crystal Palace suffer another loss. Even with the new manager, we saw Crystal Palace last week, and I felt that their attacking was better, their aggression was better, but they have no defence. Their defence is falling very, very short, and this is the problem. You can score goals, but then you can concede goals as well, and that's what makes it difficult for Palace to go ahead now. I know that they still got injuries, who will be back probably before the end of the season. However, it's getting quite desperate now. They're still above the likes of Brentford and Nottingham Forest, but even they are struggling. It says here Spurs have now scored 38 league games in a row. Tottenham boosted their hopes of qualifying for the Champions League as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. By staging a dramatic late comeback to beat Crystal Palace. Tottenham were heading for back-to-back defeats after Enze's opener until two goals in three second half minutes turned the game around, because obviously Crystal Palace are 1-0 ahead. They've come from 1-0 down. Werner scored his first goal for the club by converting Brennan Rodgers' cross into the 78th minute before Christian Romero headed in James Maddison's cross in the 80th. and then captain Son Heung-min swept home a minute from time to seal the 3 points, moving his side to within 2 points of fourth place Aston Villa, who are currently playing. I shall get to that in a minute. Werner had failed to convert when played clean through in a forgettable first half in which the hosts failed to break down Palace's stubborn defence. But it says, they got their defence sorted this week, but it still wasn't enough to concede. It's what it is, and there is. Again, this whole story is on the BBC app, Red Button, or of course you can go to bbc.co.uk/sport. That will be on there as well. And Brentford as well had a bit of a bad afternoon. Chelsea scored first, then Brentford. Then Brentford scored again. Then Chelsea came back, and it was a 2-2 draw. Brentford again need to pull their socks up as well. And no offence to Brentford fans, because I'm a Brentford fan. I'm a B. But I can't be biased when I do these sorts of shows, because obviously I have to consider everyone. Not just have to consider Brentford fans and everyone. I have to consider everyone's fans. Because there are fans that are going to watch this who, if I am then sort of like, oh yeah, egging someone else on to win, then they can say, yeah, but that's not fair because you're not So I can't be biased really. But we're going to go on to the scores, so get these out of the way. If you didn't get any of the scores yesterday, there was one game in the Championship. West Brom beat Coventry 2-1, but West Brom still stay in 5th. But that's good because that's a playoff spot back for the Premier League. That'd be good if they get back there. But also it's good for Coventry as well. But right, we'll start off with the goals, with the scores today. So. Brentford 2, Chelsea 2, Everton 1, West Ham 3, Fulham 3, Brighton 0, Newcastle 3, Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1, Tottenham 3, Crystal Palace 1, and currently only 5 minutes played, Luton and Aston Villa is a 0-0. Going to the Scottish Premiership, Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 2, Hibernian 2, Ross County 0, Rangers 1, Motherwell 2. That could be damaging to Rangers' leadership at the top of the Scottish Premiership. St Johnstone 1, Livingston 1, and St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 1. We're going to the Championship, Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1, Huddersfield Town 1, Leeds 1, bit of a shocker. Birmingham 3, Southampton 4, very high scoring game there. Leicester 1, QPR 2, another big shocker. Leicester, I think that's their 3rd loss of the season now. Millwall 1, Watford 0, Norwich 1, Sunderland 0, Plymouth 0, Ipswich 2, Preston and Hull was 0-0. Rotherham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Stoke 2, Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 2, Blackburn 1. One game in the Women's Super League. Man City Women 2, Everton Women 1. Interleague 1, Bolton 2, Cambridge 0, Carlisle 1, Reading 3, Cheltenham 0, Burton 0, Derby 3, Port Vale 0, Fleetwood 4, Wigan 2. Leyton Orient 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Lincoln City and Stevenage 0-0, Northampton and Charlton 1-1, Peterborough 2, Exeter 1, Portsmouth 2, Oxford United 1, Shrewsbury 0, Blackpool 2, and Wycombe 2, Barnsley 4. There was 3 games in League 2 postponed due to waterlogged pitch. That was Bradford and Notts County, Colchester and Stockport, and Crawley and Barrow. They're all waterlogged pitch. But the rest of the league's games is Wimbledon 1, MK Dons 0. Crewe 2, Morecambe 3, Grimsby 1, Forest Green 0, Newport 0, Mansfield 1, Salford 0, Gillingham 2, Swindon and Harrogate was 1-1, Tranmere 1, Sutton United 0, Walsall 3, Doncaster 1, and Wrexham 4, Accrington Stanley 0. Into the National League, Dorking 4, Chesterfield 1, Flied 4, Maidenhead 1, Boreham Wood 1, Gateshead 1, Bromley 2, Halifax 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 3, Altrincham 1, Eastleigh and Solihull Moors was 3-3, Ebbsfleet 2, Rochdale 1, Hartlepool 1, Barnet 2, Oldham 1, Southend 1, Oxford United 1, Aldershot 2, and York 2, Wealdstone 3. There was one game, I think there was only one game in the National League North that was postponed. Alfreton and Gloucester City. So Boston United 1, Spennymoor Town 2, Brackley Town 0, Farsley Celtic 0, Buxton and Scarborough 0-0, Charlie 2, Rochelle Olympics 1, Curzon Ashton 1, Hereford 0, Darlington 3, Banbury 1, King's Lynn 3, South Shields 1, Scunthorpe 2, Chester 2, Southport and Peterborough Sports 0-0, Tamworth 3, Blast Spartans 1, and Warrington 2, Bishops 1, and finally going to the National League South. There was 2 games, waterlogged pitch there, Chippenham Town and Weston-super-Mare, and Dartford and Worthing, or waterlogged pitch as well. Chelmsford City 2, Avery 0, Dover 0, Maidstone United 1, Farnborough 1, Yeovil 3, Hemel Hempstead 0, Haverton Waterlooville Town 0. There was Slough Town and Bath City. The match was postponed. I'm not quite sure. I did hear things of landslide. I heard things about there was trouble on the pitch. I will get back to you next week on that when I know more, because I don't actually know. Oh, and St Albans City and Hampton and Richmond was match postponed as well. Tunbridge 2, Eastbourne Borough 0, Truro 2, Taunton Town 0, Welling 2, Braintree 2, and Weymouth 1, Torquay 1. And that's all the scores for today. I'm going to quickly go through what's up tomorrow. We've got Premier League at 1 o'clock, Burnley and Bournemouth. And at 3:30, we've got Man City versus Man United. It is Manchester versus Manchester. And the Scottish Premiership, Hearts and Celtic. Should be good. And we got women from the Super League, Women's Super League, and Women's Championship. The Super League is Arsenal, Tottenham, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Bristol City, Brighton, West Ham, Man United, and Leicester City, Chelsea. In the Women's Championship, we got Lewes versus Sheffield, Reading versus London City, Blackburn versus Durham Women, Crystal Palace versus Birmingham City, Sunderland versus Southampton, and Watford versus Charlton. That's in the women's. And just a quick thing, on Monday it's Sheffield United versus Arsenal. That's at 8 o'clock kickoff, and we have 2 National League South games as well, both at 8:45. Avery versus Yeovil and Chelmsford City versus Worthing. Okay guys, that's going to do it for this week. But don't forget, there's Champions League on Tuesday, Bayern Munich and Lazio, and Real Sociedad versus PSG. We also got Championship and League 1 and League 2. So, yeah, go on bbc.co.uk/sport, or go on the BBC app or the red button, and you'll see all the fixtures there. Okay, that's going to do it for me, guys. If you do come across this video and you like it, please give us a subscribe and click the bell icon. Give us a like and share with your friends and family. That would be fantastic. We need to try and get these subscribers up. So tell all your friends and family, John's Football Channel. And you can join me every single week. Like I said, if there's anything you want to talk about, anything you want to discuss, any subject, any team that you want to discuss, or talk about your team or whatever, just drop me a message, and we might even have a midweek goal line to see how it goes. I just would like to put a little note out there before we go. One of the TV chefs that I admired quite a lot, while the Hairy Bikers, Dave Myers, who passed away sadly on Wednesday night. He was 66. He died at the age of cancer. I would like to say that if anyone who does know Dave, or if there's any members of his family or who are related to him, my sincere condolences. He will be missed. I was very, very shocked and saddened by the news, and may you rest in peace. Okay, guys, until then, I'll see you next week. Ciao for now.